everyone, this is Tony from her Homestead Skills. Firstly, I'd like to add that if you were trying to watch my last video titled, Is It Too Late to Start Prepping Now? There was an issue with YouTube, and I know many of you managed to see it before that occurred, but if you tried to open up the link and got an error message, there was a YouTube issue, and I did, after a few of you have informed me that you couldn't see the video, I contacted support and let them know what the issue was. I myself couldn't view the video either. So they went through the process determining that it was my channel and it was this specific video, and then attempted to view it themselves and could not do so. So the young man told me that, well, give him 24 hours, and I thought, well, okay, not too much I can do about that. So he did fix it within the 24 hours. When I got up this morning, it was running again. And prior to that, I did get sound but no video. So they worked on it, and at first you got nothing at all, and then you got sound only, and now it's fully functional again. So if you did miss it and you want to see it, please feel free. I encourage you to go and look at it and comment and let me know what you think. But yes, it was definitely a YouTube glitch. And they do happen from time to time. Most of the time viewers don't notice them, but we as content creators do notice glitches here and there. Most of them do not affect the viewing of a video though, so there's very little to say. Just wait till they sort things out, and it always seems to eventually, take care of itself. So this is the first time that I've bothered to inform YouTube that there was an issue. Most of the time I just leave them to ride it out themselves, because there's probably more than enough people telling them that they've got a problem. So and this one just seemed to affect one video of mine only, and I don't know if anyone else was having the same problem. Anyway, today many things are still going on. Yes, interest rates are increasing in Canada as well as the US this week. I understand that the US is raising their interest rates as well, and that will affect mortgages, and the same thing is happening here in Canada. Obviously the rate levels are not the same, but they are intended to cool inflation. Whether that actually will work or not is another story. And with winter approaching and gas prices going up and heating costs going up, it's going to be a very, very, very tough winter for a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I understand that in France there are currently protests and protests in the streets, protesting the high cost of fuel. And I don't think that the protests in Iran have subsided. So all of these protests are starting to gain traction around the world. I keep telling Mark that I don't think that the Iran thing will stop. He at first thought it would end and the government would crush them, but that may happen. My belief is that not quite so, not this time. I think that the people will continue to rise up as a group and overthrow their government eventually. And that's just a personal opinion. I think that they're all tired of the repressive regimes. We still have a war going on in Russia and Ukraine, and there is less and less support for continuing that conflict. And hopefully with less support, both sides will try to find a resolution, try to find peace. And neither one of them want to. That's pretty obvious. They both want to destroy each other. But they both lose. So hopefully cooler heads will prevail someplace and put an end to it. So yeah, it's definitely Europe is in trouble this week. I understand that even England and Italy and a few other countries are actually extremely upset about the situation that they will be facing this fall and winter. So keep an eye on that, see what happens. Don't think it's going to get any better there anytime soon. I think eventually everything gets better, but sometimes you have to fall into a grave before you dig yourself out, and too many countries seem to be going that route. Rather than trying to find solutions, they've dug themselves deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and throwing money. And as we've learned in North America, that throwing money at a problem isn't necessarily the solution. It has just caused other problems, both in Canada and the US. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. As far as house prices are concerned, who knows? I think in the US you have a lot more areas that people can actually live in, whereas in Canada it's basically the southern strip of the country that most of the population resides in. I'm not saying that there aren't people further up north, but it's too cold. So most of the population has settled in the southern tip, and you find very large cities just around the southern edge of the country. And in Ontario, house prices have exploded after COVID. I mean, they went up before COVID, but when people realized that they could work from home, they all wanted another home that they could actually have an office in their home and they could work from home. And so prices just kept going up and up and up, and there were bidding wars, and you would not believe the prices in Ontario. If the average little bungalow is about $1 million, I don't know how a young couple can afford that these days. Unfortunately, as they say, what goes up must come down, and they've gone up far too high. And they will come down, but will they come down enough that the young people can afford it? And Mark has always said that when the average person can't afford to buy the average house, there's a correction. And that's an understandable statement, that the average person has to be able to buy at the low end and then move up from there if they want. But even at the well, I did go back to I did go shopping. Haven't been to the stores for a while now. Haven't needed to. But I did confirm that, yes, my chicken carcasses are still available. And I did pick up one package because Mark has started to use up the stock that I prepared for him I guess it was the end of spring, when he stopped taking his daily pint of chicken stock. But no, that'll probably start up again in the fall, now that it's fall. And that's fine. As long as the carcasses are available, I'll make it for him. When they no longer are, I guess at that point then he's on his own. He'll have to just drink plain water or find some other method of maybe make a whole chicken soup again. That's what he used to do. Whenever he felt the sniffles coming on, he'd make himself a chicken soup, and he'd eat that for 2-3 days in a row. So, but at this point, just opening up a pint jar of chicken stock is pretty easy, convenient. So anyway, I'll make it for him as long as I can. Anyway, today my project is to try to make some raisin bread. And raisin bread is a little more, a little sweeter, a little tastier. I also did pick up some raisins, so we'll see if I could make it as nice as what they are in the stores. Definitely raisin bread is a treat. It's more like a dessert than it is a bread. So The other thing that's happening is that there has been, I guess you'd call it an inquest, I don't know what they call it, but they're looking into why the Emergencies Act was invoked, I guess is the word, during the truckers' protest. And well, it is being looked into. It should never have been invoked from my perspective and many other people's, but of course there are those that think otherwise. Now, is what initiated the trucker strike been resolved? Don't think so. Don't think what the farmers were upset about has been resolved. Not yet. So these things will come to a head again at some point. And perhaps some people should start listening. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. But what's going on in the world just leads me to believe that it's all just going to snowball, and there will be continued protests and continued riots. And please, everyone, look after yourselves, look after your families, continue to stock up food. It's not going to get any better in any hurry. We know that next year is going to be pretty ugly. But even if you still prepare something today, it is going to help. So do what you can. Stock up while you can, even though the prices are higher today than they were a few months ago. They will continue to go up. But as long as these things are available, we should continue to stock up, and I will. Even though I feel like in my little area here that I really don't have an awful lot of room, perhaps I have to empty a closet and refill it. This is Tony from Her Homestead Skills. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a good day.